The end of the world as we know it has already happened. America is a divided, crazy country right now, and every 6 months it gets worse. The government has a tender out right now to develop technology to find bunkers. This is a military tender. You see that name?
Okay, yeah. Everybody
knows that person. You know they'll figure it out with that name involved. They all chipped in and they built this. This is ground zero for the world to start over again. It will house like 50,000 people. There's tunnels down there. You can get fighter jets with the wings popped. I mean, I've sat there and had hours-long conversation about what they did inside that. You think the governments were just gonna all die? You don't think they have a plan and a place to go? Why would there not be a Noah's Ark situation in the world? I don't know of another place on Earth that's been described to me as this Noah's Ark bunker. And the people that can get in there, they already know who they are.
Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here, back again with Ron from Atlas Survival Shelters. I'm sure he's got a story to tell because he hasn't been cranking out videos. He's been busy as all hell. I'm assuming building bunkers around the world. So what can you tell us about the bunker building industry as we're on the brink of World War III?
Well, the bunker building business is good right now, but it's unfortunate because the world is in peril. For the first time in history, you know, there's 4 countries that it's mandatory you must have a bomb shelter in your dwelling or one that you can access. Switzerland, Finland, Singapore, and Israel. And for the first time, one of those 4, being Israel, the government sent everybody to your bunker. They knew it was a matter of not if, but when it would happen. And when I went to Israel, matter of fact, I was scheduled to go to Israel on the 4th. In 2 weeks, I was scheduled to be in there, and I still have an airline ticket to fly from Jordan to Israel. I don't know if it will be open, so I'll try to get in there because I got business to do there. The bunkers in Israeli apartments, every high-rise building you see, they take a room and it's about 10 feet by 10 feet. And it's solid concrete. It has 1-inch steel plate shutters that you can close on the window and put a bar across it, but it's 1 inch thick, and then they have a steel core door. And then they have an air system on the wall called a Rainbow, but it's made by a company called Bethel. And everybody must have one of these in every single apartment. It's mandatory. So people actually went to those bomb shelters for the first time when Hamas started bombing them. God only knows how many people or lives it saved. You know, unfortunately, 1,400 people perished. But yeah, so I mean, they're spending nights in bomb shelters right now as we talk.
That's crazy, yeah. So were you going there to do business?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So people are building bunkers, private ones?
Well, there's very few people that do private bunkers in Israel because there's really no land. And most people don't really have houses like you have in Canada where they have a house in a yard. They live in apartments mostly.
Are they building basements there?
I've never seen basements. I don't know. I wouldn't think they have basements. I don't know why they would, but there's not many private residential dwellings in Israel. I mean, you get to the outskirts, yes, they have these little houses and stuff. But when you're in Tel Aviv, it's all high rises. And there's only one place that has more construction towers that I've seen in the world than Tel Aviv, and that was Dubai. And now Tel Aviv might even surpass that because Dubai has slowed down. But when you go to Tel Aviv, they build 50,000 new apartments a year in Israel.
Wow.
So that means 50,000 NBC air systems are made a year just for Israel alone. That is more than all the rest of the world combined, probably by 5-fold.
So what can you tell us about, what are you seeing in your industry? Has there been an uptick in sales since this whole thing started?
Every time a war breaks out there, my phone starts ringing and people that were on the fence thinking, am I really going to build a bomb shelter? The news has convinced them to go ahead and pull the trigger and order that bunker. It's been steady for the last, say, 3 or 4 years, but you have those spikes, and that's the week the war broke out. And this week is another week like that because the war is only 12 days old now. And so people that were on the fence are doing it, and it's worldwide. I mean, it's people in Europe, it's mostly Americans that are buying from me. But there's people all over the world that want bunkers. Matter of fact, I'm going to go see one of your favorite friends. I'm flying to Bucharest, Romania to see the Tate brothers because they're doing that big bunker. Then I'm flying to Dubai to Saudi Arabia to Jordan, and then Jordan into Israel if I can get in. Otherwise, I got to go in by bus. But it seems like every time I want to go to a country, a war breaks out. I was going to Ukraine and the war broke out. I was going to Israel and the war broke out. The way the world's going right now, who knows when it's going to happen? But it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. But you know, this war in Israel, I mean, if Iran jumps in and Lebanon jumps in and then we get into a war with Iran and Russia backs up Iran and then we get dragged in, then Canada gets dragged in, then China gets dragged. I mean, it could be the beginning of World War III. I hope it's not, but we're not going to let all these countries beat up on Israel. We're going to jump in and help at some point, and that's when it might get dirty. You know, the weird thing is, I saw this all coming when I started this company. I forecasted everything that has happened. And I said, this would happen, this would happen, this would happen, and this would happen. And it's all coming true. I don't want to tell you what I think is coming up next and after that, but it's not good, okay? Oh. The end of the world as we know it has already happened. America is a divided, crazy country right now. And every 6 months it gets worse. It's just really, really bad.
Pretty much every dividing line has been laid down in the sand, and it appears that it's going to be one hell of a year next year with an election season. So give us your worst case scenario. I think a lot of people at this point in time, they want to know, like, what is compelling you to build bunkers all around the world?
Well, there was 3 scenarios, and 2 of the 3 have happened. The war breaks out in Europe, which it has with Russia. A war breaks out with Israel. It has. So 2 of the 3 dominoes have fallen. The last one will be China and Taiwan. We have an agreement with Taiwan that we will come to their defense. So the point is, if China attacks Taiwan, and if they do it, they should do it now because our ammunition is spent. We got a weak president. He won't do nothing, or if he does anything, it's wrong. Now's the time for China to attack Taiwan if they're going to do it. The day World War III starts, it will be too late to get a bunker by that time because the air systems will run out. The doors will run out to build your own bunkers. You know, I sell a lot of parts for people who want to build their own bunkers. I mean, I'm stocking massive inventories. All those boxes, those are air systems, and those are all the doors. People are building their own bunkers right now like crazy. They're turning their basements into bunkers. They're buying doors and air systems, and they're making their own bunkers out of concrete for a couple reasons. One, they want to keep it absolutely secret. They don't want even their best friend to know about it, or they don't have time to wait for me to build one, or they don't have the room for me to build one, deliver it, get a crane set up, pick it up, and put it in the ground because they're up in the middle of some hills. You know, but people are building bunkers more now than last year, more than the year before, and more the year before, and it's only going to keep getting busier.
How is the supply chain with the air filtration units? I know last time you were saying that there was limited amounts of units available.
Well, there is limited amounts, and I put all my free cash into stocking air systems. People are like, why do you have so many air systems? Because if war breaks out, that's all we're going to have for a whole nation. So if war breaks out, there's maybe 150 NBC air filtration systems for all of America, because that's all I got. And nobody else is really stocking them. There's only 2 Swiss brands of air systems, and I have the distribution rights on both brands. And I stock about 150, which is a lot of air systems. That's a lot of bunkers. But they could be gone like that. It's kind of like ammunition in a war. Ammunition could be gone like that. So those air systems, you can build a bunker, but without the air system, it's basically useless.
Do you know if the government sources from the same places you source parts?
They do, yeah. The government uses the exact same air systems I use. The same company, the same brand, the same size.
So you would be able to, like, you would know if the government was getting ready for something if there was an absence of a certain item.
It depends. The air systems that I'm using are for the bunkers that I make, my size of bunkers, which are like 500 to 700 square feet. The bunkers that the government might be building could be thousands of square feet, and then they're going to use a different air system, okay? They're not going to use the ones that I'm, for say, putting in my shelters. But yeah, I would know if something's going on, and there are things going on.
What kind of things?
Well, the government's building bunkers. You know, I mean,
what do you know about that?
Well, because I've got one of the contracts, okay, but I'm doing one in Europe. The American government is building. They're building bunkers. The Air Force is building bunkers. The Army's not. The Marines is not. Why? Because the Air Force has to have the control and command for the rockets, for everything. Air Force stays in one spot, so they want bunkers. But their bunkers sometimes are only 200-300 square feet.
So those are for like just hangars or something like?
No, they're for control and command. They'll have maybe 10 people down in the bunker calling the shots. So if the airstrip gets hit, but you know, an Air Force base is ground zero. I would not want to be in an Air Force base. Every Air Force base is a ground zero.
Well, they must have a deeper bunker at every Air Force base.
They're about 10 feet deep. But
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Because those things are like primary targets.
You would think so. You would think so. But so the runways will be all over here like this, and they'll put the bunkers on the outer edges, you know, because they'll use a tactical nuke and they'll hit the runway in the ground and they'll blow a big giant hole 300 feet wide, so they can't repair the runway so the planes can take off. So technically, the bunkers that are 2 miles or a mile from ground zero will survive that blast from a tactical nuke.
On the topic of governments, do you know anything about like the technology they would use to dig their bunkers? Is it the same stuff we would use, or do they have more sophisticated methods?
I'm going to let the cat out of the bag right now. The government has a tender out right now to develop technology to find bunkers.
To find bunkers?
They want technology to be able to find the bunkers. They are actually trying to recruit me to help them develop technology to be able to find all the bunkers. And I'm like, why would I do that?
You use some kind of radio waves or something
Yeah.
to see underground, like what would they use?
There's an Achilles heel on every bunker. It doesn't matter how big the bunker is, but it's the air in and the air out. So the air coming in is not going to give away a footprint.
Heat signature.
It's going to, well, it's actually a carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, not carbon monoxide. You're going to have to emit CO2 after you breathe. It's got to come out. So I don't know how they're going to develop technology to discover bunkers, but the key is find the CO2 being released from the bunker, and basically you found the people down there.
I wonder if that would obviously be for military purposes too.
Well, yeah, this is a military tender. Yeah, you see that name?
Okay, yeah.
Everybody knows that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't it?
Kind of scary at the same time.
It's very scary because they'll figure it out with that name involved. But I'm letting it be known that the government wants to know where your bunker's at. This is why when I take an order for a bunker, nobody knows who this customer is, including me. I can pull up an invoice right now where I sold a bunker today to a guy named David in Wisconsin. That's all anybody will know about this guy in my office.
Sure.
Okay, now I will probably get to know more about them, but I'm not keeping paper records on this.
Yeah, why would the government want to know where, Joe Blow was blowing carbon monoxide out of his bunker from?
Well, who knows? Maybe they want to find the enemy's bunkers. Maybe it's not for America.
I think that's probably what it is.
I'm sure that's what it is. But if you could use that technology to find a big bunker, you can use it to find a small bunker.
Sure.
And that's right. What would they care about people, a family hiding out in a bunker? But I'm sure they want to find the bigger bunkers by our enemies. And those bunkers are probably going to be pretty damn deep underground. And those ones I don't really know about. And those are going to be hard structures. They're going to be made out of concrete with massive rebar, deep underground tunnels, drive-in garages. I mean, I've been in them in Switzerland. They're crazy, these government bunkers. We don't have those kind of bunkers here in America, but boy, they built the hell out of them in Europe because of Russia, And now people are buying them, and the price on them has gone through the roof, but people are buying them and fixing them back up. Where you could have bought one of these bunkers for a couple $100,000 just 5 years ago. Now these people are asking $1.5, $2.5, $3.5 million for the exact same bunkers because of the war going on in Russia. And if you can get it, But it's supply and demand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty high profile people are coming to you to build bunkers. How different do you think the capabilities that you bring to the table are from what the government has? I presume that the government's a lot more capable. They can bring in all kinds of industrial equipment that we probably don't even know exists yet. But I was surprised by some of the people that you build bunkers for. These are pretty high net worth individuals. Not to say that you're a small operation by any stretch of the means, but you know what I mean? I would think that these billionaires would have the means to go pretty big, right?
Well, I mean, let's say you're Zuckerberg at Facebook. Just because you're him and you're a billionaire, you could buy anything you want. Doesn't mean you have to put $10 million in bunkers. Bill Gates did 11 bunkers at $5 million apiece. So he's got one at every single one of his properties. So there's $55 million. But you take somebody like Zuckerberg, he bought that land over in Hawaii. And his bunker's not as big as this room right here.
And are they putting a lot of thought into this, or is it just build me a bunker quick because shit might hit the fan?
Well, 99.9% of the people who buy bunkers from me are conservatives. They're Christians, they're gun owners, they're conservative, they vote for Trump or they support Trump. There's that minute group, less than 1%, that buy bunkers from me, and those are the very rich ones, but they're hypocrites. They may not like conservatives, they may not like guns, and they may give money to back all these things that we're against, but they still turn around and buy bunkers, okay? But for the most part, Democrats do not buy bunkers. They think everything is hunky-dory. I don't get them, okay?
I don't know if they do now.
Well, they might be starting to sign on, but for the most part, almost everyone that gets a bunker from me is a
conservative,
gun owner, Trump supporter. But then you get these 1%.
That's a big market. You gotta start tapping that market.
Well, every single Democrat customer I have right now is a billionaire. Every single one of them. I don't have a lot of them, okay? But 2 of the top 10.
Well, there's not a lot of billionaires, period. So.
Well, there's 2,500 billionaires in the world, okay?
Going up every year, but still, that's a small amount, generally speaking, right?
They think like everybody else. They know that in a blink of an eye, all their assets and all their money is digital. That in a blink of an eye, with one EMP, with a bank that doesn't have it backed up, they could lose all their money in the blink of an eye, and they'll just be an average guy like you and me, and they'll be walking the streets. So they have the attitude, I would rather have some of my money in a bunker that I hope I never need, but my kids will think is very cool, and they'll go play in it in case shit hits the fan. And if it does, that's all I got now. I've got some land, I've got a bunker, and I got a bunch of guns.
So I always ask you every time you're here, what's the biggest project you're working on right now?
The one in Europe.
That's the
2,000 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and that's just phase 1. Yeah, that's just phase 1.
That's in Romania or
Italy.
Italy, right?
Yeah.
Why Italy?
Italy hasn't built bunkers since World War II, and the government decided that they need to do bunkers for
themselves.
For themselves, and then private. So it's a joint private government venture. It's a private contractor doing it. But the government has already bought the space in the bunker.
Is it it's an open secret?
Yeah, no, it's not an open secret, but it'd be equivalent like going to Wembley Stadium and watching a football game and not even knowing that the big ass bunker in London is right underneath the stadium. I mean, that is the best time to do a bunker, is when they're doing a major earthworks project. So that's why the bunker under the Denver airport was done at the same time. That's why it went $21 billion over budget, or whatever it was, some ridiculous amount. No, it didn't go $21 billion over budget for an airport. It's that bunker is that big down there.
Well, that would make sense. So when they're doing these, because they want to hide it in plain sight.
Yeah, they're using the project as a decoy. So they're hiding it in plain sight. So they're digging, what do you know, we're doing the airport. But over here, that excavator just keeps digging on down. And once it gets down underground, it starts going this way, and they open up a cavity, then there's a lot of equipment down there. And then they do the exit 20 miles away.
I see the communist cameraman is snickering right now because maybe he doesn't believe you, but...
He doesn't believe what?
No, I'm just saying because... No, a lot of people would be,
I have friends that worked in that bunker.
Yeah, this will get a lot of eye rolls, right? Because it's been relegated to the realm of conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy, okay? Go to the Denver airport. The New World Airport was paid for, like 7 countries chipped in. If the world ends, if the world is hit by a meteor, the world starts over again at the Denver airport. That is where it is. England, it was France, it was Germany, it was Canada, it was the USA, it was Japan, it was somebody else. They all chipped in and they built this. This is ground zero for the world to start over again. It's the Denver airport. It will house like 50,000 people. There's tunnels down there. You can get fighter jets with the wings popped out. I mean, I've sat there and had hours-long conversation about what they did inside
with
that.
Who?
The people who worked on it that built it.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a guy who's building bunkers for billionaires.
Yeah.
Some people are going to watch this. They're going to be like, "Who's this guy?" Right?
No, it's not.
He's the real deal. That's why I'm kind of intrigued.
They're either
here.
lying their ass off to me, and I know they're not.
Right.
But
wouldn't they be on a like? Would
of course they are, and they're not supposed to tell me this stuff. So I might be getting a call from the feds. Who is the person that told you this? But you know what? I mean, come on. I mean, there's so many people.
Well, I was going to say, the communist cameraman might think we're feeding him a line here, but no. I will say, in the past, they've disclosed, they've declassified bunkers built right underneath government buildings or, restaurants.
That's that bunker. That's not ground zero. This is
no. I'm just saying as an example.
Yeah.
To validate your point. Yeah. About how they do this, right? In plain sight, because that would make perfect sense. When you're building a huge stadium or something, just, kind of throw it under. Nobody's going to really, but they must though, because there would be a lot of people working on that would have to keep their mouth shut.
They have a contingency plan. What's that movie where they all show up in those big giant ships, the Noah's Arks, and then 3 ships get...
Sure, 2012.
Yeah, whatever that was. I mean, that's the contingency. The whole world was killed except those people on those 3 ships.
But how do
Denver
they keep
bunker
it?
is the contingency plan for 50,000 people.
How do they keep it secret? All the construction workers working on it, one of them must slip up when they're drunk. Hey,
Well, they do slip up.
Is that what happened in your case?
Yeah, yeah. But mine was an engineer that developed systems in there, and a very smart person. And you got to understand, the Colorado School of Mines, okay, engineers is right there in Denver, Colorado, I believe. Okay, they've got some really smart minds right there. But these engineers that I know came from that school. Okay, these are very high IQ people that worked on these projects. Okay, so they're either all lying to me about the same exact thing, or
is there something about the earth that's easy to dig there or something, or is
I don't remember what they said the earth was. Matter of fact, it might have even been rock there. I really don't know. But so my understanding is, I shouldn't be talking about this, but you got the Denver airport, and then there's like 2,000 miles of tunnels.
I don't think you're getting back into the country into your
Probably not. But you have the Denver airport bunker. Then you've got one over near Arizona, okay, near Phoenix, or it's near Phoenix, I believe. And then there's another one here, but there's like 7 of these bunkers, okay, and they're all connected by tunnel. And you can travel to all of them by high-speed train or however it is underground, okay? But there's like 2,000 miles of this stuff, if I remember right, but they're all connected. You don't have to come out of the ground again.
Before we proceed here,
Yeah.
because I know some people are kind of rolling their eyes, I will say, when you think about, we know.
Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't we have this?
Of course, the government would have some secret bunkers.
Why wouldn't they have this?
So it's just a matter of where are they?
Have you not heard about
and
this?
how big are they?
Have you not heard about the seed vault?
Sure, I have.
Okay,
Yeah, everybody knows about the
why
seed
would they have a seed vault?
because the world's going to end and they got to
Okay,
have.
that is how they replant the earth. Why would there not be a Noah's Ark situation in the world? That's Denver.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told. That is.
It is at a high altitude.
It's at a mile high. Tidal waves won't get to it. The ground was solid. That's where they built it. Okay.
It's almost geographical center of the United States.
Yeah,
as well.
and the people that can get in there, they already know who they are. That they can't talk about it. If you're getting in there, it's because you bring something back to this world. But if we get hit by a meteor, you think the governments, we're just going to all die? You don't think they have a plan and a place to go? It's not going to be the Greenbrier or someplace like that, one of those government bunkers. That's not made to sustain for 7 years or 5 years, whatever. This bunker is for like 50,000 people for like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. I forget because I haven't talked about it in so long with the people. But it's made to keep people there for years, okay? And thank God we have there is a place like this, because if this does happen, if we get hit by a meteor, do you not think we'll be hit by a meteor again one day?
I, for one, want Joe Biden and all his family to survive and me to die. Someone has to live, right?
Well, anyway, but thank God there's a place like this, because I don't know of another place on Earth that's been described to me as this Noah's Ark bunker.
Well, they got to have something in China. They got to have something in Russia. They got something in the Yamamoto Mountains or whatever the hell it's called, the mountain complex there. I'm sure they got something. I mean, it's Russia.
You would think they would, especially the Chinese, because they like big Earth projects. But they have these bunkers in China that they'll put in a 25-foot diameter.
Well, they have whole
pipe.
underground cities in China.
Oh, yeah, but they'll take a 25-foot diameter culvert pipe, and this thing will run for thousands of yards, and they'll put 2 levels on that, and that's literally the bunkers, this big culvert pipe going in underground for China.
And if anybody could build it, it's them, right?
Well,
if anybody could keep their mouth shut and build it, it's them.
I went to China, right? Mm-hmm. So I've been to 30 countries in about the last year almost. So about 30.
I've been to one.
Where's that? America?
The one I'm in right now. Yeah, okay. I haven't left.
Well, that's about it. Bunker business is healthy and alive. I'm busy. I'm traveling. I'm trying to help as many people as I can. I still love what I do. I still care about the people. I still want to do it right. So if people watch this and you get a bunker, do your homework, okay? I've seen too many people get taken by bad bunker builders or gimmicks that aren't bunkers, because everyone wants to capitalize on the demand or the urgency for bunkers. So just because someone says, I make bomb shelters, doesn't mean they know what they're doing, okay? Yeah. So if they do their homework, they'll just watch these videos and they'll learn.
You kind of remind me of one of those chefs, it kind of comes in at a little bit of a higher price point, but you're getting high quality, you're getting somebody who takes pride in their work. And what is the lead time right now for a bunker?
It depends on the size of the bunker, but you
Like
know,
a realistic lead time from the time they place it to the time they space it.
3 to 6 months, and 6 months to a year on a big bunker. And when I say a big bunker, I mean like multiple bedrooms, $300,000 to $500,000 bunker.
We really have no arrangement for like commissions or anything. I'm not getting any kickback from this. I will say though, guys, if you want a bunker, do it now, because by the sounds of things, 3 to 6 months, we're really talking 6 months at this point. So, you know, do it now, don't wait. You're looking at what's going on in the world, and
It's pretty messed up.
it's pretty messed up. So things can go sideways really, really fast. Do I think that it's going to be a Mad Max apocalypse situation? You never know. I mean,
Hey,
at this point,
when people invade countries with paramotors, like Hamas did,
you just
I mean,
never
that
know.
was so Mad Max,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
You know, I mean, and that's the thing, yeah, with the asymmetrical guerrilla warfare, they're innovative, and, you know, people rest on their laurels and get soft, and that's what happens. That's why we got to be vigilant. But hey, thanks for coming out, man. Always interesting to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me on your show again.
Start making videos again.
I will.
Hey, this guy needs an editor. So if you guys are down in the States, there's 300 million of yous. One of you should be able to help this guy edit videos.
I got a lot of footage to edit, but I don't have an editor right now. So, hey, you get to live in the free state of Texas if you take that job.
There you go. You get to move, change states, shoot some guns, and
Have some fun.
you'll survive the end of the world. All right, thanks a lot for coming, man. Guys, go subscribe.
The best way to support this channel is to support yourself by gearing up at CanadianPreparedness.com, where you'll find high-quality survival gear at the best prices, no junk, and no gimmicks. Use discount code PREPPINGGEAR for 10% off. Don't forget, the strong survive, but the prepared thrive. Stay safe.